You ever hear a story that sounds so incredible it just has to be a myth? Well, today we're diving deep, literally, into one of those. We're talking about the lost city of Dwarka. It's this amazing tale of a golden capital, a god king, and, you guessed it, a massive cataclysm that sent the whole thing to the bottom of the sea. So, that brings us to the big question, right? The one that's been bugging people for ages. How does an entire city, especially a golden one filled with so much power and wealth, just vanish beneath the waves? It's a heck of a mystery. Now, you might think we'd start by digging through old books and scriptures. And we'll get there, for sure. But our story actually kicks off much more recently, with a mind-blowing discovery that made everyone stop and say, wait a minute. Maybe this legend is real after all. Okay, so picture this. It's the 1980s. A team of underwater archaeologists from the Archaeological Survey of India are exploring off the coast of Gujarat. And then they find it. Not just a few old pots, but the actual remains of a massive, sprawling city deep underwater. This was the first real, tangible proof that something huge had been lost there. And I'm not talking about a few scattered rocks. They found massive stone pillars, huge, sturdy walls. You could literally see the layout of city streets and buildings. This was undeniable. A real, sophisticated, and probably very wealthy city had once thrived right there, before the ocean just swallowed it whole. And this is where things get really interesting. Suddenly, you have science staring myth right in the face. These ruins, they're a physical link to a story that people have been telling for thousands of years. So you have to ask, could this be it? Could these be the actual physical remains of the legendary city of Dwarka? Okay, so to really get why this discovery is such a huge deal, we've got to jump back into the legend. We need to talk about what Dwarka was supposed to be and about its super famous king, Lord Krishna. See, Dwarka wasn't just some random port town. In Hindu tradition, this was the capital city of Lord Krishna, the eighth avatar of Vishnu. He founded it after leaving his old home of Mathura, and it became this incredible, magnificent home for his people, the Yadava clan. It was the center of his entire world. And for 36 years, things were amazing. It was a total golden age. The city was beautiful, prosperous, everything you could want. But, as you can probably guess, this perfect little paradise, well, it wasn't meant to last. So what happened? I mean, if a city is that powerful and protected by a divine being, what could possibly bring it down? It wasn't an army. It wasn't a random earthquake. According to the epic Mahabharata, it was something way more personal, way more inescapable. It all came down to two powerful curses. Yeah, two curses. And what's wild is that Dwarka's feat wasn't sealed by some enemy army. It came from within, from things like grief, anger, and just plain arrogance. These two curses were aimed straight at Krishna and his people, and they basically set a time bomb that would tick away for decades before finally going off. Okay, so let's break these down. The first curse came from a woman named Gandhari. She was the mother of the Kauravas, who, well, they lost the massive Mahabharata war, and she blamed Krishna for the deaths of all her sons. The second one, that came from some very powerful sages, who were, to put it mildly, not amused by a prank pulled by Krishna's son Samba. Two totally different reasons, but both led to some seriously terrifying prophecies. So Gandhari, just consumed by grief and rage, basically says to Krishna, just like my family was destroyed, yours will be too. You will watch your entire clan be annihilated. It's a curse born from pure pain, demanding that he feel the exact same loss she did. And the sage's curse, just as brutal. So Samba, Krishna's son, thought it would be funny to dress up as a pregnant woman and mock these sages. Big mistake. They were so offended, they cursed him, saying he would give birth to an iron pestle, and that very object would be the cause of his entire clan's destruction. Talk about a prank backfiring, right? A moment of stupidity leading to total ruin. So there you have it. Two deadly curses just hanging over this beautiful golden city. At this point, it wasn't a question of if it would all fall apart, but when. All right, so here's the timeline of how it all went down. The huge Mahabharata war ends, the two curses are thrown down, and then nothing. For 36 years, life just goes on. The prophecies are just sitting there dormant. But then the moment comes for Krishna to leave the mortal world. And that's when the final act of this whole tragedy kicks into gear. The legend says that as soon as Krishna was gone, the city was basically defenseless. The prophecies finally came true. The internal fighting that was predicted just exploded, and the Yadava clan basically destroyed itself from the inside out. And only then, with the city empty and its people gone, did the Arabian Sea rush in and take back the Golden City for good.
But here's the thing. The story doesn't really end there with the city sinking. That's just one part of it. Because the sinking of Dwarka is actually part of this bigger, cyclical story of destruction and rebirth. And that's key to why this story is still so powerful today.
And there's a specific number that's really important here, 7. Why 7? Because this wasn't a one-time thing. The idea is that Dwarka hasn't just been lost once, it's been lost and rebuilt over and over again.
It's believed that the city has been submerged 6 times before, and the city of Dwarka that stands on the coast of Gujarat today, that's believed to be the 7th one. It's a living monument to this incredible cycle of destruction and rebirth, a symbol of some serious resilience. So on one hand, you have the legend, right? This glittering golden capital, just bustling with life, protected by a divine king, the absolute peak of a mythical age.
And on the other hand, you have the reality, the cold, silent stone ruins sitting at the bottom of the ocean. Real physical proof that a huge city was right there before it was lost to the sea.
Which brings us back to that big final question. In a story like this, where you have ancient texts and modern science pointing to the same place, where does the myth end and the history begin? And maybe, just maybe, does it even matter where that line is when the story itself is still so powerful today?